In this video, we're going to create an Excel table. Now, the whole key for any table is identifying your field names. As a rule, your field names will be the top row of your table, or the header row. In this case, our field names are date, store, field name product, manager, state, and sales. They're all our field names. Those field names within a table allow us to sort the table and also filter the table. And what filter means is to select only a few records within a table. So we're not selecting the entire table. Filtering allows us to select only certain records within the table. So to create our Excel table, this top row, header row, those are our field names. What we need to do is click directly beneath one of the field names. In this case, my cursor is in cell A2, directly beneath the field name date. So it's here. Click on the Insert tab. Next, click on Table. So we're going to insert or create a table. We get a dialog box. The area for the table has been identified. And always make sure that there is a check mark next to My Table Has Headers. Click OK. What we're going to notice is that there's now a drop-down arrow next to each of our field names. Date, store, product, manager, state, and sales. If we were to sort our table by state, we would sort it in the same way that we would sort any file. We would position our cursor directly beneath one of the field names, right-click, sort, custom sort. In this case, I want to sort by the field name state. Click on the drop-down arrow. Click on State. Click OK. We can see now that we've sorted our entire table by state, alphabetically. What you also notice is not next to the field name state, there's an upward arrow, which means that there has been a sort, and it's in ascending order. So we can sort a table, but we can also filter a table, or just select certain records within the table. How you do that is you go up to the field name. In this case, I'm going to filter the table by selecting just the states of Connecticut. So I go up to the field name state, click on that drop-down arrow, click on Select All, and by doing that, everything is now unchecked. So I clicked on Select All, everything is unchecked, and then come back in and put a check mark next to Connecticut. Click OK. And what's happened is that only the state of Connecticut is now showing. You also notice next to the field name state there is a Y, and if I hover over that, it will show me that I have done or performed a filter on the field name state where I've selected only CT or Connecticut. I can click that Y again, come back here, click on Select All, or, which would mean that everything will now be showing, or I could have clicked on Clear Filter from State. So now everything is all showing once again. Next, I'm going to come into cell G1, and I'm going to type in next year sales. Enter. If I widen this out, we can see we have a new field name. Excel knew enough that I was creating a new field name called next year sales. I'm going to click over here. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fill in my next year sales. And those sales are going to be based upon an increase of 10% over the current sales. So I'm going to use a formula. Come up here, all formulas, equal sign. Click on that 2000. And what you're going to notice here is that sales is shown, and what that means is the field name sales. Keep that in mind. So entire field name sales multiplied by, if I'm going to be increasing by 10%, that means 1.10. That's an increase of 10%. Click on enter. And what's happened is that the entire column, all the fields, the entire field of next year sales has all been filled in. I didn't have to copy down the formula. That's a nice aspect of Excel tables. You fill in that initial cell, the top cell, put in your formula, and it's automatically copied down throughout the entire column. I can click on the G column. We're going to format it as currency. And now it's been formatted also. If I wanted to change that as opposed to 10%, if I wanted to make it just 5%, that would be 1.05. So once again, it's that top cell. The field name sales multiplied by 1.05. Hit enter. And the entire column has been changed. So it's pretty powerful. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in a total row. And a total row allows us to have running totals for our entire table based upon how we're filtering it. Give you an example how we get the total columns, or the total row rather, is you have to make sure you're clicked on the Design tab. Over here we want to put a check mark next to Total Row. And what's happened is that at the end here, there is a new row showing totals. There are some numbers that have been inserted. And if we click there, there's a downward arrow, a drop-down arrow. Click on it, and we can see where those numbers came from is that they've summed the entire column. If I want to sum this column here for sales, right now it's the next year sales that have been summed or auto-summed. I can click within here. We have the drop-down arrow. Click on Sum. And now everything has been summed for my sales. If I wanted to count how many stores I had, I can click in this cell right here. There's nothing in it right now. Click the arrow and count. So it's telling me that I have 30 stores. Now, by the same token, for numbers, I could count them, I could average them, I could sum them, I could find the standard deviation, but it's pretty powerful. Now, for these totals, our table is dynamic. It can change based upon how we filter that table. So I'm going to come up here and click on the field name State. Come in here and filter it so that only Connecticut is showing. Select all. Everything has been removed. Click on Connecticut. Click OK. And what's showing here is just Connecticut. in the totals pertaining to Connecticut. There's 10 stores, and these are the totals for those 10 stores. I can come back up here, change it here, include Massachusetts by checking it. So we're filtering it. The filter is really based upon Connecticut and Massachusetts. Click OK. We can see the only stores that are showing are Connecticut, Massachusetts. I hover over here, and it's telling me Connecticut or Massachusetts. Lastly, if I want to take that table and convert it back to its normal state, or convert it back to the way it had looked before it was an Excel table, how you do that is by clicking on Design, click on Total Rows. So your total row is now disappeared, so we unchecked it. Still on the Design tab, come over here and click on Convert to Range. Do you want to convert the table to its normal range or the way it had looked like before it became a table? You click Yes, and we're all set. Briefly, that's some information on Excel tables. Thank you.